So why is everyone talking about Plug Power stock? Well, I'm going to answer that question in this video, looking at a question and answer session that Plug Power CEO and CFO held with Wall Street investors, which will provide many insights into why everyone has begun talking about Plug Power stock and why many investors are interested in Plug Power stock right now. So let's get right into it. The first question coming from James West from Evercore asking that could you accelerate into many more plants in that area of the world? Is talking about Europe. Is that a fair assumption to make? And the CEO jumping in to say, yeah, you know what? That is a fair assumption to make, especially two areas, that southern portion of Europe, such as Spain, as well as the Nordic region, where you have accessible hydropower and wind power, which we think make a lot of sense. So, yeah, that does. You are right to assume that we are planning to expand in that area. So James West asks a follow-up question on the EV charging front. This has been emerging. Could you characterize kind of what you're seeing in terms of demand, the level of demand that you're seeing? And Andrew Marsh, the CEO of Plug Power, again jumping in saying, we have some large customers who are looking to deploy EV vehicles. Now, if you're not aware, two very large partners that Plug Power has is Amazon and Walmart. And certainly those two companies are looking to deploy more electric vehicles across its delivery and logistics fleet, right? Those two companies need to move things around a lot, and I mean a lot. And they need more effective, more efficient, and more lower cost sources of energy, and Plug Power could be a significant source of that for Amazon and Walmart. So the CEO saying the first deployment will be last mile delivery to charge EV vehicles because it's much easier to bring hydrogen's facility 70 miles away to generate the fuel in using our stationary power products to power the vehicles. The next question coming from Manav Gupta asking about the strategic partnership with Johnson Matthey and asking, can you help us understand what they bring to the table? Why is this partnership important to you? And the CEO again jumping in to say Johnson Matthey has great capabilities when it comes to being able to source precious metals. And obviously, when you start thinking about recycling precious metals, nobody is better in the world than Johnson Matthey. So I think this provides Plug a unique technical advantage, manufacturing advantage, as well as addressing some of the larger concerns in the industry about the availability of precious metals. Interesting. Okay, so Johnson Matthey is a great partner to source these precious metals, which have become in short supply as many companies have begun looking to renewable energy sources. In So this is why the CEO thinks the partnership was important and was necessary for Plug Power. The next question coming from Alexis Kania from Wolf Research saying it sounds like there's a lot of demand for green ammonia, but what's your sense in terms of the timing of when the larger types of announcements? So the executive VP of Plug Power jumping in to answer, talking about their sales funnel. Our sales funnel is well in excess of $30 billion. That's massive. Especially when you compare the companies only expecting to deliver 1.4 billion in revenue in 2023. So a lot of this sales funnel is not is not going to come to fruition in 2023. And when you break that down, what's in that funnel, almost 50% of that is related to e-fuels, including green ammonia type opportunities. So I believe that we'll be able to start sharing something incremental with you during 2023. And then he goes on to say, most likely in the second half of the year. So in the second half of the year, in the middle to second half of the year, look out for big announcements from Plug-in Power in terms of closing in on these deals in its sales funnel, right? So right now there's discussions, and then look to these deals to be closed and signed in the middle to the second half of the year. Alexis is asking a follow-up question about the SK South Korea partnership and the expectations, which I think was like 400 megawatts by 2025. So the CEO jumping in saying, including the electrolyzers in South Korea, bus fleets as fueling stations, where we have quite a bit of business in fueling stations that will be seeing revenue this year as that business begins to grow. This year is really a testing and verification of our stationary products. So don't expect anything big this year. We're just testing, the CEO saying. We're also working on the details of the MEA manufacturing plant in South Korea that's going to support 200 and 400 megawatts per year size deployments between the year 2025 and 2040. So that's a big gap there between 2025 and 2040. So those efforts, there's a lot of development and manufacturing coordination going on between Plug Power and South Korea. So they are working on it. They are expanding. They're in the testing and verification stages right now. So you'll start to see something meaningful probably starting in the year 2025 and then continue to grow through 2040. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. So the next question from Prashant Juvekar from Citigroup, asking about the delays in 2022 and building these hydrogen plants. But despite those delays, Plug Power didn't change the 200 tons per day number for 2023. And Prashant is curious, wondering why you have the confidence to keep that guidance despite all the delays you experienced in 2022. Okay, reasonable question. And the executive VP jumps in to say, well, the Georgia production plant is going to start to produce by the end of this quarter, and in early Q2, it'll be in a full production standpoint. Okay, so there's a new plant coming online. And then also, they're talking about the fact that they learned a lot from what has gone on so far. And with that learning, what that has allowed us to do when you take that know-how into our plants in Texas, in New York, they're going to be able to leverage, learn from that, and then improve in the plants in Texas and New York. So the company has Georgia coming online this year, Louisiana coming online this year, that production plant, and then expansion in the Tennessee production plant. So when you take all that into consideration and you look at all the list of those projects, the 200-ton commission, we feel very good about that by the end of the year. And then by the middle of 2024, the 200 plus tons will be producing at full capacity, and that's how we're looking at it. So they'll reach the 200 tons per day by the end of 2023. So that means they might not get to 200 tons per day until, like, let's say December, right? And then what they're expecting is then in 2024, by the middle of 2024, almost every day will be 200 plus tons produced, right? That will be their production capacity. That will be where they will operate at. Despite all the delays that they've experienced, they still feel like they're on schedule to meet that goal because of these new plants that are coming online and because of what they learned from the headwinds and the mistakes that they had earlier on. I shouldn't say mistakes, but maybe delays, because when you're really ramping up a cutting edge technology, something that really hasn't been done, some of the things that you're doing hasn't been done before, there isn't really any mistakes. They're just learnings, right? You try something, you try a method, and if it doesn't work, then you can say, okay, we know this one doesn't work now, so we won't do it in this way any longer. And then you try this new thing, and okay, that didn't work. We know that this isn't effective or this isn't efficient. So as you move on, you learn things. You learn this doesn't work, you learn that doesn't work, and you take those learnings and you implement them in your new facilities, in your new production plants, and those plants are now better. They're more effective, they're more efficient, they ramp up more quickly, and you have fewer headwinds, you have fewer delays because you're not making those same mistakes that you made, or those same learnings that you made earlier on. You're not doing that again. You're not trying those methods again in this new facility. So really innovative company here, really just on the ground floor, the early innings, right? Um, if you're not aware of Plug Power's ambitions, they're looking at 1.4 billion in revenue projection for 2023, going to 5 billion by 2026, and then going to 20 billion by 2030. So from 1 billion to 5 billion to 20 billion, all within this decade. So really, really explosive growth expected here from Plug Power. And now you can kind of understand why everyone is talking about this company, right? There are relatively few companies that are growing at the rate that Plug Power is growing, and with the long-term expectations like Plug Power has. So I hope this has provided some insights into this innovative energy company, this renewable energy company, hydrogen fuel coming out. And so that's all I've got for this video. I've hand selected these videos that are popping up on your screen right now that I think you might enjoy. So please click on one of those and I'll see you over there. Thank you so much for watching.